milkweeds, which is a host plant for our Monarch caterpillar. And this is actually a piece of milkweed. Here you can see their elongated kind of cigar-shaped leaf, or almost eye-shaped leaf here, or very elongated football shape, however you want to say it, call it. And this is some of the actual stages of the milkleaf. This is the bud of the milkleaf here. And you can see these are the flowers before it opens, and they're called buds. And then I can actually see the flower of the milkweed, which is really cool. It has the center, which is the pistil that comes up, and then off of the pistil is the little tiny filaments, and on top of that little filament is the stamens. And this is all part of the center in the bottom here of the plant of reproduction. And once this becomes pollinated, where the bee lands on one and then brings pollen to another plant, and maybe even pollinates with a different type of plant here, they cross-pollinate. Once it's pollinated, then what forms is seed pods. And this is a seed pod that just started opening. A long seed pod forms, and then once the seed pod opens, then the seeds fly up in the air. And this is a form of seed dispersal. And this type of seed has almost like little tiny feather or cottony strands on the top of it. And this becomes airborne once these open up in the wind and blow high in the sky and blow away. And it just distributes the seeds far away from the mother plant. So this would be considered the mother plant. Let's see if I can get some of these to like kind of fly in the air if I let it come on out. Usually when it's in my classroom I see it blowing all over. When the wind or the air conditioning starts moving it, they just kind of flop and fly. Outside they just fly up high, way up past beyond the school building, and they just fly everywhere. So that's seed dispersal, and this is one type of seed dispersal through wind right here. Okay, so we're going to start painting this milkweed now. We want to give some stems with some different values of green, and I'm going to start off by dipping in a little bit into the green and a little bit into the dark green, and I'm going to go ahead and paint some tall stems. I'm going to just do a few, say 3 stems at first, and then if you want to add more, you can add more later. Just tall stems going from the bottom of the page up, and then keep on dipping into the paint if you see that the line is not painting correctly or painting fully. That just shows you didn't have enough paint on your brush. My paint's a little bit too thick right now. Go ahead and add some of the leaves, which are those elongated football type shape. Start off, place 1, or eye shape. Place 1 line coming out, and then what I do is I go ahead and keep it thin at the tip, and then I make it thicker by pressing and then lifting my brush up to get it a little bit skinnier as it hits as it merges with the plant, the actual stem of the plant. And I'm going to go ahead and place them. This leaf shows it coming off opposite, direct opposite. So I'm going to place it directly opposite, doing another leaf, then pressing the brush on one side, getting thicker to skinny. And I'm going to go ahead and continue going up the plant like that. So tip skinny, press the brush and hairs down, pull up toward the stem, then make it a little bit thicker in the middle. Pull out, press in. Now you can also vary some of this color. You can put a little bit of darker value on here, or wait till this dries a little bit before you start doing your values. You can even double load your brush by going into the dark and then the light at the same time. Doing your press down, bring it to the stem. This is kind of curving. You want to vary them too. They're not all exactly the same. And as I'm going up, I'm going to get a little bit, as it reaches the tip where I want my flowers to be, these are just going to be very small, right in here. Come off the stem, press down, pull up, press down, bring it to the stem, if it needs to be a little bit thicker in the middle. And then you're going to do the same for all stems here. I'm just going to do this very quickly by pressing. Press, bring it to it, press, bring it to it. If you want to fix your little tips and make them thinner, that's fine. And now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do the flowers. I'm washing my brush, and I'm going to just go into a little bit of green. Off of this tip, I'm just going to do a few very thin lines, kind of radiating out from the center point here, but I'm only going to go halfway around, not a complete circle. And these are the little tiny stems of the flowers. So I'm going to come over here and do the same. I'm just going to end up finishing 3 of them so you can see that, or 2 of them so you can see this. And then I'm going to go with 2 values. Look, I've got some dark value down at the bottom, and then all of the little filaments and the pistils and the stamens are in a lighter yellow-orange color. So I'll start off with this darker red and red-orange value here. I'll give a little bit of orange in there. And then I'm going to just place, because these are so small, you don't see this from a distance. You don't see all this detail. I'm just going to place a few dots of paint or dabs of paint on each of the little stems of the bud, stems of the flowers here. And then above that, I'm going to go into some yellow-orange color, and then just put a dot or 2 on the top of that. And just dots. You don't have to draw all the petals, because from a distance all of these colors just merge. And you can see I'm even touching some of that red with that color. It's important to wash your brush if you are contaminated with other colors when you go into the yellow. Otherwise your yellow is going to be really contaminated with color. Now, once you finish your page, you can finish more milkweed plants here, put another one in here. Then afterwards, you can even go ahead and do a caterpillar, a milkweed caterpillar, which is a monarch caterpillar. And that's like a yellowy green with some stripes. I would go ahead and print it, like right here. I'd go ahead and paint some of these caterpillars here. And then after that dries, you want to wait for that though, you can add darker stripes on that caterpillar. So he's got some stripes in here. And his stripes, the caterpillar stripes are black, yellow-green, and white. So you could stick those stripes in once you're done. You can add some grasses down at the bottom, small grasses here, in your different values of color. And you can create grasses. I always do it in 2 different directions, crisscross, and make them all different lengths. And this just fills in the bottom so you don't have a lot of negative space down at the bottom. There. Okay? And I'm going to show you some of the examples. This one is done, with my white background, and this looks just as good done in darker backgrounds. Or you can even choose another color background if you'd like and create some milkweed here. And this is just spattering and pressing your brush in. And this was created with kindergarten classes here, this example. So it was made much simpler just by dabbing the colors in. And then we're putting in our monarch caterpillars on our milkweed plants.